be honest, as interconnected as the Abrams Concerto might be, there's so much going on, so much happens that it's hard to know what it's all about. But I have some ideas. Yuja's in a time machine. The piano is the time machine. And she's flying through the 19th and 20th centuries, like visiting these genres and sometimes jamming with them. Sometimes like, all right, I'm gonna go somewhere new now. It's a new cadenza,
cool.
Right? I know. So doesn't it?
You should write program notes.
And like, it's like the solo part, you is the subjective mind. You're the one experiencing. And then the orchestra is the objective, like, styles that you're visiting, like the places you're visiting, right?
Like a time traveler?
Yeah.
But that's just me. I don't know if that resonates with either of you.
In a way, only the pianist is real. Like, the orchestra is the stuff they conjure.
How would you know the difference between the dream world and the real world?
You know what I mean? And like, you just wander into like your own fantasy, but the real stuff is the cadenzas.
So
That's
it's like
the
virtual
real
reality
piece.
shit.
Something like that.
This is getting trippy. So basically, you hallucinated that Teddy even existed. And he wasn't conducting, it was all in your head. It's possible.
It has that, octane, high motivation and positive and
Very much meant for the moment that we were in, which was one of the dark moments in recent history. But this was intended to be a kind of counteracting, uplifting way of digesting, the world.
And understanding that social context affords us another way of reading this music.
And part of it is saying, look, we're super distracted by things that are really tough, so I'm not going to let you get comfortable enough to go back into that sad place. Like, I'm going to just throw something out. There is another party coming every 2 seconds.
This music represents the pent-up energies of a billion people locked down in isolation from one another, figuring out new ways to hate each other. It's an ecstatic outcry for collective identity and togetherness in the midst of social isolation.
like I did think about not playing the piano anymore during pandemic. And I was really happy actually the first few months, like I don't have to travel, I don't have to play, I don't have to drive my adrenaline to the roof every day. And I wasn't even listening to music. I was doing everything else other than music, like reading, cooking, having fish, bike riding, and Netflix and I guess chill. Randomly one day I was like walking and he called and was like, this is written for you. And then I start looking at the score and that's when I start creeping up to play the piano again.
It is a thing that makes you happy to listen to it, but it's because of how you played it.
It's an extremely fun piece, and if you don't like any part, you can always skip over to the next part.
And that's not a diss. At least in my experience, God knows how many times I got impatient listening to Horowitz's Rock 3 with Ormandy and just fast-forwarded to the last page so I could feel the goosebumps all over again. But then we listen again and are taken by a new passage and start noticing new connections. This is all just part of getting to know great music intimately, so it can grow in our minds and our hearts. So when it comes to a work with the breadth and complexity and diversity of the Abrams Concerto, there's no requirement to have to experience it as one grand unified structure. And composers are always changing and rethinking and reinterpreting their work. A reviewer for Arts Louisville wrote glowingly about the Abrams Concerto, but also said that it could use some editing, that it needs to be honed a little more, and it's probably still being tweaked as I write this article. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sure, Teddy might rework parts of his concerto one day, and if he did, he'd join the company of all the composers we've been talking about. And it's not just Rhapsody in Blue, but so many pieces in this genre that we love don't have just one single identity. Rachmaninoff's first and fourth concertos were both revised decades after their premiere. He was perennially insecure about the finished status of his works. His second trio was revised multiple times, and he practically eviscerated his second sonata, the original of which is still preferred by many pianists. Rock 3 features alternative passage work written in small notes above the staff throughout the piece, including a colossal cadenza that Rachmaninoff had replaced with a smaller and leaner, more structurally integrated one. I mean, every time a work is performed, it is in a sense recomposed, reinflected, reinterpreted according to a unique conception, as conductors and soloists search for new truth in the score. As for Teddy Abrams, it was MTT who taught him how to do that.
His way, though, of thinking about music, it's always to ask the question behind the question, not just what is there, but why is it there? What's the deeper meaning for this music's existence? And that's what was so remarkable about you all those years ago. You kept digging. You were so obsessed with trying to find that subtext, that meaning. That was what was driving you. I felt.
Oh, for sure. But I think that's the Chinese philosophical background also. Yeah, like Dao Te Ching, like the things. It's not what is appear, it's what's behind them, and I feel like music is the pathway to get to that truth.
The only trouble with the Abrams concerto is it's not clear who else can play it.
She first played that, I've never smiled that hard because I didn't know it was physically possible to play it.
Obviously written for you, because nobody else in the world could probably do that as well as she did it.
Is this now a catch-22? Like, will a piece ever be played if only one person can play it?
All the more reason to listen to this recording.
Just like a third theme. Programming 3. Yes, that's right. Exactly. Thank you.
Oh, there's a Gershwin.
Yes. Rhapsody in Blue here.
Well, many people would say it's very superficial, so you can't please everybody.